Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mythic Banter. I'm here with Akalon. We're going to be bringing you all of the gaming topics that we found throughout the week.
And drama.
And drama, of course. Drama as well, because there's always a little bit of drama at the beginning. But before we begin, I should mention that because of the fact that I am a father of 2 children, I have parental obligations on our usual recording day. So we are recording this one a little bit early, which means that, you know, if anything happens later today or in the morning of Friday, we might have missed a couple of things. And, you know, it is what it is because these episodes take a while to come out. But just letting guys know if there's something we missed, don't worry about it because we'll probably get to it next week. But yes, we are recording a little bit earlier than usual. That's my fault. My apologies. Akalon, what have we got on the docket for today?
And I should just say this. Well, I should say 2 things, actually. Just before the show started,
wait.
threatened to destroy me.
2 things?
Yeah, I want to say 2 things. He just threatened, like literally, as we hit record, he goes, all right, get ready for me to destroy you verbally for no reason. I don't know why he's that aggressive, but, you know, it's a great start to the show. But then also, if something does pop up, we did this, I think, in episode 2 or episode 3. If something pops up that is super important, I think it was the Dr. Disrespect stuff, and it absolutely has to be covered, I will make a segment and we will edit that into the show just so that you know that it is happening. But that's only if something huge happens. And the first topic of the day may actually be the thing that provides that something huge.
Oh my God. Here we go. Here we go. And before we get into it, guys, you got listen, there's one thing y'all got to do. You got to subscribe. We're about to hit like 1,000 subs, I think.
Oh yeah.
So you can be I think. You know, for the low price of $3.99, you too can be the 1,000 subscriber. Well, only one person will get to be the 1,000 subscriber, and we'll probably never know who that person was, but it might be you. You never know if you hit that.
Well, let us know in the comment section if you are the person that clicks that button when we get to 1,000. You know, and then there's like 500 people going, I was the 1,000 because the button doesn't update.
They're refreshing the channel, seeing the subscribers. Oh, it's almost time for me to hit the button. It's almost time. No, wait, now we never reach it because people are waiting for 999 before they hit. So now we never reach 1,000 subs.
We may have just ensured that we'll never get to 1,000 subs.
But the best part is if we actually do reach that 999, we'll get like 100 subs like in one go of everybody trying to get in there. But subscribing, hitting the like button, all that stuff really helps out. So thank you very much for doing that.
I mean, you guys are absolutely amazing. I should take a moment just to say, from our side, we love you guys so much. Every single week we release this podcast, and every single week we have way more viewers than what we have subscribers, suggesting you guys keep coming back. You keep coming watching. You enjoy the content. So really, massive shout out to you guys. You can pat yourselves on the back. You guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you for that and for the comments and the likes and all the rest of it. We love you. Now, as is, I guess we should say tradition on this show, because from the first episode now into, I believe we're in episode 18 or 17, we have never had a single episode. There you go. Rurikon is giving you guys hate bats. For the listeners, Rurikon is giving people hate bats. Yes. But we have never had a single episode that doesn't start with drama, which is wild. Considering we do this weekly.
I think we've had 1 or 2 episodes that didn't have drama in the beginning. I'm pretty sure.
Last week we thought there wasn't going to be drama, and then it turned into an hour-long conversation about Aspen Gold.
Yeah,
yeah. You know, so maybe some, but there's always something happening. But all right, this drama is actually all fun and games aside. Stop having fun if you're having fun at the moment.
Yes.
And listen closely, because this is actually quite bad. Twitch is embroiled in a lot of shit. Twitch made the executive, for those of you that don't know anything about this, Twitch made the executive decision a week ago, more than a week ago, to ban or to suspend Asmongold for 14 days from the platform. Twitch's biggest mistake here was not cleaning house before doing this. You see, because
Yeah.
once they suspended Asmon, people started to look very closely at what was actually happening over at Twitch. Now, Rurikon, I don't know if you even know the amount of reverence that there is over at Twitch for Hassan.
I am well aware of it. I am not a Hassan enjoyer.
No.
Because I just don't like a lot of his talking points, but that's fine. I still think that he should have his platform, but the biggest issue that exists right now, and again, I'm not a political streamer. I don't care about politics. I don't do any of this stuff. But to me, when I see what some person says and what somebody else says, and it's just like, okay, so both people are saying terrible things about a race, a whole race of other individuals, yet somehow one is accepted and the other one isn't.
Well,
that's weird.
Not just accepted.
It's just weird.
Yeah, but it's not just about being accepted. And by the way, in this show, we're not going to go into the politics of Israel, Gaza. Like, that would be fucked. We tried that last week and, no one had fun.
You tried that last week. I'm
no, on my channels, I go into it in very much detail. The problem is just when you want to have that conversation, you can't have it as just a segment of a podcast.
Yeah,
you have to have
it doesn't
like,
work.
That
you
has to be the
go
podcast.
a deep dive. There needs to be a deep dive and all that stuff. And quite frankly, I'm not knowledgeable enough about those topics because these are not things that I can afford to even spend time investigating because I'm full-time content creator, parent of 2 children. Is like, listen, I have enough problems in my own life. I don't need to be getting involved in Middle Eastern conflicts and all that stuff.
Yeah, like he won't even be able to play the Monster Hunter demo because of
you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. I'm gonna play
you will
that
not play
demo.
that demo.
I will play that demo.
You will do your father shit. You will do your father shit.
And I will also play that demo. No, I will play the crap out of that demo, bro. 100%.
But all right, so the thing that's disgusting to me about this is Hassan isn't just accepted on Twitch. He's celebrated on Twitch. You have Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch.
Oh, yeah, he gargles on Hassan's nuts all the time.
He said 100%. Openly he loves watching Hassan's content. The entire Twitch staff and the CEO wished Hassan happy birthday on his birthday. And this, by the way, is in the midst.
As far as I'm aware, they've never done that for anybody else.
No. Hassan is literally the first person they're doing this for. And, of course, this is in the midst of Hassan consistently being a certain Austrian painter's favorite pet. Because what Hassan is saying would make certain people whose name starts with H very proud to hear what he is saying. Hassan has continuously denied some of the events of October 7th. He has continuously said that even if these events happened, he doesn't care because, and in his mind, the Palestinian resistance is still learning effectively, which is just, I mean, you want to talk about disgusting. That has to be on the level of what Asmongold said. Like, it has to be equal.
Here's the thing. You're once again getting involved into the whole politics about what happened in Palestine and all of that stuff. But listen, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear because I've seen in the comment sections people were misrepresenting my position. I think that when one faction is killing a bunch of people, I don't want a bunch of people to die because amidst people that might have done something wrong or might have not done something wrong, whatever, there's definitely going to be a whole bunch of innocent people that are going to get killed. There's going to be whole cultures that are going to get annihilated on both sides. So it's like, I just don't want to see, Palestinians getting killed, and I don't want to see Israelis getting killed. I don't want to see anybody getting killed, all right? I want people to be able to live peaceful lives. That's all I want. It's not that hard to not kill people. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I've lived for 42 years, managed in my 42 years of living not to kill another human being. I don't think that's Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying, maybe accidentally. You know, you dropped a piece of paper, someone bent down to pick up the piece of paper, got hit by a bus.
The butterfly
and
effect.
you didn't even know. Yeah,
because,
you didn't know, but it is your
because
fault.
I picked up this plushie right now at this exact moment. Somebody across the world just happened to, take a bullet or something.
Yeah, because of that plushie.
No, no, but it's like that is my position. I wish people would just stop killing each other. That's the way that I look at it, and I don't want to see anybody die.
To clarify, I'm not speaking on the events of October 7th. I am simply saying what Hassan said without any context from my own. But it has to be mentioned that if Hassan says things like this, is that not on the level, at least, of what Asmongold said? And then you ask yourself, how is it that Hassan is still on the platform and Asmongold got suspended? Now, Twitch then made the executive decision.
Because Twitch cares about money. And like, if you actually think about it, Hassan makes them a fuckload of money. Oh, boys, it's the top of the hour ad break. Here we go. Whereas Asmongold is like on the Zach Rohr channel, which is not monetized, therefore not only not making them any money, at the same time costing them a lot of money because he usually gets 20,000 concurrents.
It is my understanding that Twitch
even more.
Forced ads onto his channel.
They forced ads?
Yeah. It's my understanding, at least. I've no confirmation on this, but it is my understanding that Twitch basically forced him to run ads on his channel.
Dan Clancy going in there and he's like, "You're gonna eat these ads and you're gonna like them." That's what you're gonna do.
No.
And we're not even gonna pay you for these ads. We're just gonna get them.
Bend over. There's no lube. Calm down. Just
either way,
look ahead.
To me. To me, when it comes to this kind of stuff, like I've already said, I don't like what Asmongold said. I think that what Asmongold said at the time was out of character, and I do think it's ban worthy. But if you are going to ban Asmongold, you're going to have to go ahead and ban a whole lot of other people. It's just that simple. Because you can't just I'm going to ban this person, but because this other person aligns with my personal views politically, I'm going to keep them on the platform. It's okay. At that point, you no longer enjoy what is the article? There's article section 330 or whatever the fuck it is that allows you to be a platform. It allows you to host a whole different amount of content without having to worry. You can basically put the responsibility onto the users. That there's a provision.
As long as you don't editorialize.
Exactly. But what they're doing with this is they're editorializing.
Yeah.
Which, at that point, you're no longer a platform. You're a publisher. If you want to be a publisher, that's fine. But you will no longer enjoy the protections of, basically you're responsible for the content that is on the platform as opposed to the users being responsible for the content that they put on the platform, which is a very different approach to things. Now, YouTube has the same problem, by the way.
Yeah.
Because of the 100%. way in which they enforce their rules. They have a very similar problem.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason these platforms are still allowed to be called platforms is because of greasing political palms.
Yeah, exactly.
Because technically speaking, the only way you can be a platform, and this is literally why that law came into effect, was the only way you can be a platform is if you truly do not editorialize. So you allow everyone to just say whatever the hell they want, and you don't take action because, well, you're just a platform. You're not to blame for the stuff that people do, right? Now, Twitch did act, kinda. They banned Frogan and Denims from the platform. Frogan, I believe, got a 30-day ban. I'm not sure how long Denims got. Of course, that's not the problem, because Frogan and Denims is literally just orbiters of Hassan. They got their start within Hassan's community. I believe Frogan is even a mod for Hassan. And from that community, they were able to spin off their hateful nonsense because they heard it from Hassan. Hassan basically gave them the green light to be as hateful as possible. Frogan made the news, and this is where all of this started blowing up, when she made a quip on her live stream where she wished all American soldiers and veterans to get PTSD and delete themselves in real life. She
said the delete themselves part, because the clip that I saw only has her wishing PTSD.
No. She she wished that they would delete themselves.
See, that's absolutely disgusting. Like, how can you wish other people to get PTSD? I mean, how privileged do you have to be that you just sit there? Like, we're privileged. You and me, we're privileged. We're sitting out here. We're live streaming. We're creating content. Like, this is the fucking dream.
I should just point out, no, you're wrong.
What do you mean?
Because also, according to Hassan, this is worse than coal mining, bro. Like, you and I, we're really the soldiers in the front.
Yes. Yeah, we're the soldiers in the front lines. You know, it's like I could easily just go do manual labor right now. That motherfucker probably never did a whole day's worth of manual labor, which I have done, by the way. I've actually worked in metallurgy and, you know, as well as digital printing business. I've done a lot of physical labor, and you know, I think that it was a good thing. It develops character and all that shit, and it keeps you humble when you're doing something like this, which is fucking awesome. Like I said,
it makes you appreciate it.
This is living the fucking dream right here. Yeah. Straight up. No ifs, ands, or 100%. Buts about it. Okay?
Yeah.
I need people to understand. And it's like, we're privileged. Now imagine how privileged you have to be in that position. And at the same time, it's like, you know what? Fuck these soldiers that went to these wars and all this, but fuck them. Get PTSD. And then, like, come on now. What the fuck?
And then when people pointed it out to her, she rewatched her own clip. And
she said based.
Based. You know, which is just, I mean, you cannot, it is vile beyond belief. But you have Mia Khalifa also today, by the way, doing the same thing, wishing the American military all manner of terrible stuff. So it is, make no mistake, it is a massive issue.
But see, this is where, you remember how whenever we talk about stuff like this, I always say that people look at each other as enemies, but they never look to the people above. They're just like, they're divided.
Yeah.
And it's like, you hate the U.S. military. Guess what? Mm-hmm. They were following orders. You want to hate the U.S. military? Go hate like the generals. Go hate like the fucking, you know, the admirals, all of that stuff. Or, you know, the presidents, all that. Yeah, go hate them. Why do you gotta go hate the soldiers who might, by the way, might have been drafted? It's not even like a choice, because during those days, I believe that it was mandatory, at least in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when the draft went away, but there was drafting in America for a long time.
There was drafting in Portugal as well. It actually went away before I had to do it, so I never did any military service. But
South Africa had it as well. It went away in 1994.
Yeah, so it's like,
for us.
It's like a lot of these people were drafted into this. They had to go do it regardless of their personal beliefs. And you're going to wish PTSD upon them? Do you even know the effects of PTSD? I highly doubt this person even knows a damn thing about PTSD. It's like, what the fuck?
To be fair, they think they get PTSD when someone, you know, cuts in front in line at Starbucks.
Yeah, road rage?
You know? Yeah. I have PTSD now because of a microaggression that someone did. Someone asked me where I'm from, and now I have PTSD and I have to go to a therapist for months on end. But they don't know what it is, right? Because they're not soldiers. I've heard stories. I watched this documentary on soldiers screaming, waking up in the middle of the night screaming.
It's fucked up.
And most of those soldiers do eventually end up deleting themselves as a result of the stuff that they're going through. And also just a lack of help, because people like you exist that say the most fucked up things about people. Not you, like Frogan and Mia Khalifa, that say the most fucked up things about a lot of soldiers, by the way, that would be willing to die for you.
Yes, they would be willing to die so that you can sit there and enjoy your freedom of live streaming and having a much better life than they ever did. It's fucked up. It's 1,000,000% fucked up.
And it's interesting to me that you have people like Mia Khalifa and Frogan, people whose parents or they themselves escaped the tyranny of Middle Eastern countries, moved to America, get all of the benefits of the American society, and then criticize America because America isn't like the places that their parents escaped from. It's like, dude, what are we doing here? These people should just be deported back to their home countries. Go live with the people that you think are so much better.
we're getting too deep in the weeds here. What I'm saying is, I think it's disgusting what Frogan said, and
I agree.
At the same time, I also think it's disgusting some of the stuff that Asmongold has said, because I know that people are like, oh, so you guys are defending because the U.S. military is being, but you didn't defend when the Palestinians were called an inferior culture. It's like, no. I disagree with both things. I think they're both terrible things to say, but I think that if you're going to allow Frogan to say this nasty shit about the U.S. military, then you also need to allow you need to allow Asmongold to go ahead and say nasty ass shit about the Palestinians, which is fucking terrible on both ends. Both ends are fucking terrible as far as I'm concerned, and these are terrible things to say, and these are not things that I want to get involved in any way, shape, or form. But now, you need to be consistent with your rule enforcement, and by the way, it's the same thing for Hassan. I still cannot believe that Hassan never served a single day of suspension for saying that America deserved 9/11, which is magnitudes of fucked up.
Frogan ran a subathon. Frogan ran a subathon. My video on this, covering this, is going live right after the show. Frogan ran a subathon where the $6,250 reward was her and two of her friends baking a cake of the Twin Towers with a plane next to it. It's like what? Dude, do you understand that there's people that lost, like, I don't remember what the numbers were in terms of casualties. More than 3,000 at least.
But it's like, do you understand that entire family units were destroyed because of this?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand that this is something that a lot of people will never recover from psychologically? Like, this was a terrible event. And by the way, I'm sitting over here comfortable all the way out in Portugal, just like chilling. I was literally playing Diablo 2 when this shit was happening, and I was watching it on the TV, and I was like, what the fuck? Because you never forget where you're at when something like this happens. I remember it was a CRT television, like sitting right next to me, and I was watching the news, and I was like, logged into BattleNet, and I was like, what the crap is going on?
Dude, and the wildest,
it's like, it's something that I will never forget as somebody that lives in Portugal.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody that was actually in the States at the time, living this.
I remember walking into our living room. I was still young, and my aunt and my mother crying, watching the footage of 9/11. Crying. Literally crying for the suffering that is currently happening in America. So I remember it literally vividly, and I'm in South Africa, right? A country that couldn't be further away from America. So to make jokes about this is just disgusting. To say that they deserved it is just disgusting. And the fact that he's not been suspended for it just shows the absolute hypocrisy of it all. But you might be sitting here thinking, Akalon, Rurikon, why does this matter to us as gamers and viewers? I'll tell you why. Because Frogan, there's clips of her now where they did a panel at TwitchCon, by the way. A panel where they ranked people, and the ranking list was Arab, S tier, and Zionist, but they didn't call them Zionist. They made hummus reference, right? So they took a famous hummus brand, and they had that as the bottom tier, and they sat there and they ranked people as Arab coded. They're the best people in the world, and then everyone else is just terrible. Ethan Klein and his wife are at the bottom. Just this massive racist joke at TwitchCon with sponsors in the fucking background. Like, literally, the sponsorships are in the background.
Because sponsors don't give a fuck if you're racist. They don't care.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Unless public perception notices it.
Yeah, this is the problem, right? The issue is, for those of you that don't remember, there was a time where you could say literally anything on YouTube and nothing would ever happen. You would get monetized, you would make money, no one gave a shit. And then came the dreaded yellow button. The yellow button means no money for anyone, right? And that was the demonetization era of YouTube. It happened because of shit like this, where advertisers saw their videos popping up next to Nazi propaganda videos and shit, and advertisers were like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? And they stopped advertising, and YouTube had to fix their shit. This is coming to Twitch.
So what Akalon is pointing out is like the way that this is going to affect you is even if you just, all you watch is gaming content and all of that stuff, a lot of those creators will eventually be losing privileges basically because sponsors will start pulling out on account of the fact that the platform is becoming a toxic cesspool of racist ideology and all of that stuff. But, like I said, to me, look, Twitch, you do whatever the hell you want. Just try to enforce your rules accordingly to your principles. That's it. It's like, and if you believe that some people are allowed to watch just blatant terrorist propaganda on their websites and react to that, that's fine. If that's your policy, but just in that case, you can't really complain when some other content creators engage in racist tirades and shit like that. Which
you see, but to me, it actually.
As far as I'm concerned, leave it all public so that everybody can see what everybody else is doing and everybody can make up their own minds about the content creators. Unless they're inciting violence and calls to violence and all that bullshit. But yeah, if they're just doing edgy, dumb shit, whatever, leave them all up. But if you don't want to leave them all up, then ban everyone. Ban everyone equally. Apply the rules equally to everyone. That's all I got to say. It gets
worse, actually. It's as bad as you just said, but it's actually much worse than that. So for those of you that don't know, Twitch has never made any money, ever. Amazon's purchase of Twitch was the game plan was the same as Google's purchase of YouTube. Google knew that they weren't going to make any money off of YouTube, and they didn't. For the first decade and a half, YouTube made no money. YouTube only started turning a profit in 2016, 2017 for the first time, and now YouTube is massively profitable. But before this, YouTube was just basically a drain on the resources of Google. But Google knew that there was a long-term plan. The problem is that Amazon's gamble with Twitch did not pay off in the same way. Amazon has owned Twitch for more than a decade now, and Twitch is still not making any money. In fact, it's gotten to the point now where Twitch is starting to cut massive resources from, or Amazon is starting to cut massive resources from Twitch. Dan Clancy has outright said that there are severe budgeting constraints on Twitch already because Amazon wants Twitch to turn profit, and Twitch is struggling to turn profit. Now, what happens? Because remember, Twitch finally realized what YouTube realized years and years and years ago. The money is in advertising. That's where you make the money. Not from YouTube subscribers or not from subs, because yes, some people will sub, but as every streamer will tell you, the overwhelming majority of your viewers will not sub. They just watch, right? You're basically supported by a small number of your own community. So you're never going to make your money that way.
Which, by the way, I would just like to point out that sometimes there are people that try to guilt people into subbing and shit like that. Yeah. Those people are fucking scumbags. Even just watching is a great way to just support another streamer. Yeah. If you can engage with stuff like when it comes to YouTube with the like button and all of that stuff, like that stuff helps immensely. You don't need to give streamers money to support them. Like you watching 100%. Is already a massive amount of support. And anybody who tells you otherwise is a fucking moron.
Agreed, right? And I'm not mentioning this because I think people should give me or anyone else money.
I get it. I just want to make it perfectly clear because there's a lot of gaslighting going on with some streamers where they're like, you should give me money because I'm here provide. It's like, motherfucker, you're a clown. You do your little clown dance and you shut the fuck up. You take what money it's given to you, and that's that.
I'll put it to you this way: if I have 100 viewers, would I rather the 100 viewers all subscribe but only 10 people chat, or 10 people subscribe but 100 people chat? I'd rather have 100 people chatting because that means chat is moving. I have something to interact with. The stream is lively. I'm having fun. Chat's having fun. So I'd rather have 10 people sub, 100 people chatting than the other way around, because if you only have 10 people chatting, it's very difficult to keep the conversation going. It's very difficult. So there's people who absolutely don't sub. And I have people in my community who's never subbed, but they chat and like a motherfucker. Yep. And they keep things alive and they make jokes and they spam emotes when it's cool. And they that's their way of giving to the community, because new viewers come in, they see chat is moving, and they're like, oh, this is a community that's alive. We have to hang out here. So everyone does their part. even the lurkers do their part because they get the number higher. The number higher means higher rankings. So everyone does their part. But the point is, from Amazon and Twitch's perspective, viewer money will never actually make you profitable. You need that ad money. What happens when the advertisers finally go, no? Because we could end up next to Hassan's stream right after Hassan says America deserves 9/11. A Pepsi ad shows up, and Pepsi goes, fuck? Like,
Hassan's community goes, based. Like based Pepsi, based Coca-Cola.
So you can imagine how for a company like Pepsi and Coke, this is unacceptable, right? And the Rumble CEO just came out yesterday in an interview and basically said
he came
gives
out?
Twitch. He came out of the closet for once. I never heard him speak before, but he came in an interview and he said he gives Twitch 4 more years. In the next 4 years, Amazon will either sell Twitch.
That's in his best interest to say something like that. Come on. It's in his best interest. He's talking to his competition.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think in this instance, like even someone that has a bias can be correct about the things that they're saying. If you take into account that Twitch isn't making money, despite their best efforts, they're still not making money. And if advertisers actually do start to pull out, Amazon may just look at this thing and go, you know what, fuck it. There's better ways for us to make money.
There's like in a way a hidden value to Twitch, which is in its community. So long as Twitch has the community that it has, the website will have value, even if it's not monetary value. I don't think they're going to shut it down anytime soon. Even within the next 4 years, I don't think that is the case. I could be wrong, but I almost feel like we've been hearing about Twitch's demise for the last decade, and yet it's still going. It's like the Nintendo Switch 2. Every other week, somebody comes out, guys, this is the week. Big news, Nintendo Switch Pro is coming out. And then nothing ever happens. It's like, well, yeah, but you keep saying that every other week, and eventually you're going to be right. It's the same thing with Twitch going away.
You would like to point out
every other month that the site is going to go down. Eventually, you're going to be right, but I don't think we're anywhere close to Twitch going away.
I just want to point out, just because something has been said for a long time, like at some point it will be true. The reason you have to look at the reasons why people have been saying this for a long time. No matter what Twitch does, no matter how much they try to monetize that site, they never even get close to breaking even. They continuously lose I think the last time was hundreds of millions of dollars that's lost on Twitch every single quarter. Right? So Twitch is a money sink at this point. And from Amazon's perspective, if the advertisers now pull out, Amazon may just go, you know what, no, we're done. This isn't worth it. Not for us. Because remember, if Twitch comes under fire, the journalists are going to write about Amazon. And now Amazon is doing this. And Amazon famously tries to steer clear of too much nonsense, right? Because they want everyone to buy and they don't really get involved politically too much in anything. So this could cause massive blowback. I don't think they'll shut it down because you are correct. There is value in the viewership and the community that's built there. I do think they'll sell it. The question is to who? In this instance, I think YouTube will probably be very interested in buying Twitch because YouTube live streaming has never really gotten off the ground. And,
I disagree with that so much. Every time I hear people saying YouTube live streaming hasn't gotten off the ground, and yet whenever there's a major event, YouTube numbers are always bigger than Twitch numbers.
Yeah, but
listen, what the thing is that people don't understand, and this is just like a misconception, and this is one of the reasons why, you know that guy that came from Twitch to a YouTube contract and then completely bombed, Mythic?
Yeah.
I believe is his name. He used to be massive on Twitch. Then he came to YouTube and he completely bombed. The reason why is because people think that they can treat a YouTube stream like a Twitch stream. And these are two fundamentally different things. You can't just stream on YouTube the same way that you stream on Twitch. Because the idea is that a stream on YouTube needs to be an event. So it's like, let me just tell you something. What is the biggest audience that you've ever had on your most successful live stream on Twitch?
On Twitch, I think it was 1,000 something viewers. Just over 1,000 viewers.
Okay. 1,000 something viewers. That's impressive. That's a lot of people, a lot of concurrence watching. Was it a World of Warcraft stream? I would take
it was it was BlizzCon.
Yeah, of course. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Now, I'm gonna give you an example. I would have gotten that 1,000 viewers if I was to have streamed Monster Hunter during Gamescom on Twitch. I would probably have gotten those 1,000 viewers.
Yeah.
You want to know how many I got on YouTube? 10,000.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same story because I stream, right? I stream to both YouTube and Twitch. My YouTube stream was over 3,000 viewers. So I do agree with you, right?
There you go. But so it's like, it's not that YouTube streams haven't taken off.
No, they haven't. Because what you're not focusing on is what people want from streaming is everyday gameplay, normal streams. YouTube cannot compete with Twitch on that. Just cannot. And I can prove that. If I stream simultaneously to both YouTube and Twitch, my YouTube will have 20, 30 viewers, maybe 40 at the most. My Twitch will have between 60, 70, 80, 90 viewers, right? Yeah. So YouTube does not compete on everyday streams with Twitch.
But that's because you're taking a very specific example of your community. Your community started on Twitch. Most of your community is on Twitch, and they're not willing to go to another website just because that's where you are, which is understandable. I have the same situation. Most of my community is on YouTube, and they're not willing to go to Twitch if I happen to stream on Twitch. This is just because communities will usually form on certain websites because of their content creation, consumption habits, all of that stuff. There's a million different reasons why it happens, but fundamentally, it takes a lot for somebody to follow a creator across platforms. Like you need to be a massive creator like a Ninja or, that level, basically, right? Or
Shroud,
but
I feel like we have the numbers, right? We can see how streamers that took the bag from YouTube and moved to YouTube lost a third, sometimes 2/3 of their viewership over the course of a month. Because YouTube, everyday gaming streams cannot compete with what Twitch is doing. Because people go to Twitch for that experience, right? That's why they go there. YouTube.
But events, YouTube
is YouTube.
Crushes Twitch on events.
This is exactly
that's the thing. That's where YouTube took off, where a lot of people are always saying that, YouTube never took off. It's just the biggest thing about YouTube is the chat experience. The chat experience is not as good on YouTube as it is on Twitch.
I'd say chat and mod experience, and also to some extent the stream experience, but the streaming experience isn't that bad.
But the thing is, when it comes to streaming on YouTube, you get 10 times more than 10 times the quality that you get on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because Twitch is still stuck in fucking 100 bit rate. 6,000 bit rate, bro. It's 2024. 6,000 bit rate of pixels the size of my thumb, bro. Come on now. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, but remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about YouTube might be interested in purchasing Twitch because it brings Twitch into the ecosystem.
100%,
and it solves the problem that YouTube cannot solve themselves because they can't get that community to grow in the same way on YouTube. So now they have the events and they have the daily live stream. 100%. Right?
No, it's like what I'm saying in no way goes against what you're saying that YouTube would be one of the most interested websites in picking up Twitch if that happens to be an option for them. 100%. I 1,000,000% agree. I just always agree because I hear this misconception that like people always talk about YouTube live streams as if they're a failure. And I'm like, no, you're wrong.
For events, they're amazing.
They're not a failure at all. You just can't stream the same way that you stream on Twitch because it's a fundamentally different way of doing things.
Yeah, 100%. But fundamentally, that's the fear, right? The fear is that Amazon gets rid of it. And YouTube buying it will be the best case scenario. There are people that will buy that platform and then they'll make major screw-ups. Remember, Twitch is the only live streaming platform that survived. You have Mixer that completely died. Facebook Gaming completely died. No one uses that anymore. And even though they went super hard, they couldn't do it, right? There's plenty of other sites that tried it. YouTube is the only one that survived. Twitch is the only one that survived it.
Dude,
and continues to go.
What if Elon Musk buys Twitch?
Oh, man. I wouldn't be surprised because he wants to turn X into an everything platform. He could just buy Twitch.
Just buys Twitch.
Yeah. Spell it TWXT because he fucking wants everything to be X. And bam, right? He has Twitch.
He would just embed Twitch streams on X, and then he wouldn't have to develop his own streaming technology. He would just embed it, and boom, done.
Yeah, but he'd have access to everything. So yeah, but it is a terrible situation that we find ourselves in, and I really hope that Dan Clancy and the team wake up and realize that while Hassan might be the golden boy because he is the most subscribed to streamer on Twitch.
He's not. That's
in terms of
at
terms of per capita. So for the amount of viewers he has, he makes more money than anyone else. Like he makes bank for Twitch. Because
but he's a socialist, though. What do you mean?
No. You don't understand. If you listen to his community will say to you, he lives in the world. And that's why he's allowed to enrich himself. Because
bare necessities budget. I've heard.
Yeah. The $3 million mansion of the socialist dictator. But hey, who am I to judge? His community is stupid enough to believe it, so we'll go with that.
And by the way, guys, we're not sitting here being like, oh, we're against capitalism. It's like, no, we're just against hypocrisy. Those are two very different things.
Dude, I am a staunch capitalist. I think if you can get the bag, get the bag. But you see, I'm consistent in my views. I think if you're going to get rich, get rich. But I'm not a socialist. He should be giving his money away, all of it to taxes, really. Exactly. But anyways, that's the Twitch drama segment of the stream or of the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Let's move on to gaming. More gaming.
Yeah, yes. Definitely. But let's just hope that Twitch wakes up and realizes this is a bad situation for everyone involved.
It's time for you to make the move to YouTube, brother.
I'm already streaming on YouTube, so, it's whatever. But all right, so the next topic here, I'm going to give Rurikon the ropes to run with because it's his favorite fucking platform with his favorite gaming company.
What do you mean? Wait a minute. What do you mean my favorite platform? What the hell?
We all know you're a console Andy. No, stop even bullshitting. You're a console Andy. You just have the PC so that people can call you a console Andy. Let's be honest.
You're 1,000,000% wrong. My view on gaming has always been, listen, I know that exclusives are going to be a thing, so I'm going to go where the games that I want to play are. If those games are on PlayStation, I'll play on PlayStation. If they're on Xbox, I'll play on Xbox. If they're on PC, I'll play on PC. That's my view on things. So, however, when you are doing that, you have to take into account budget, which means, okay, I obviously can't afford to have like a giga PC and also all these consoles. So in the past, I would be very conservative about spending money on PC, and therefore I'd play most games on PlayStation because it's easier to live stream without me having to put load on the main PC. Yeah. But recently, because I'm playing more and more things on PC and it just makes more sense, I've been investing more on the PC side of things, and that's what I've been focusing on. But I go where the games are. That's where I go. So like, listen, we go from base to sellout within a span of like a couple of seconds.
You live in two worlds, sir.
No, but I mean, the thing is, for instance, you've never played Demon Souls.
No,
because you can't.
Because it's not on the base platform.
Yeah, but I want to play Demon Souls. I don't give a fuck if it's, what platform it's on.
Well,
unless it's on a phone.
They should come to PC.
Because if it's on a phone, then no, you can't play it on a phone. It's just that simple. Phone, dude.
If the game was good enough, it would have been on PC. That's all I'm saying.
But anyway, the point that Akalon is bringing is that apparently Sony hasn't made enough mistakes yet, so they've now decided to double down, quadruple down, quintuple down on all the mistakes that they've made, and they are carving out a piece of the Bungie team to join in on PlayStation to build a foundation for a creative team. And by the way, I'm quoting from a lady that used to work at Bungie. She is now taking on a new role as a senior director of creative at I don't even know what the fuck that means. Senior director of creative? Okay. At PlayStation Studios. But she's not leaving Bungie. But basically she says that Bungie Creative Studios is joining PlayStation to build a foundation for a creative team that can support all PlayStation live service games. This opportunity to share our experience working on Bungie titles with other studios that are building live service games is so exciting. Live service is hard and comes with a unique set of challenges, so together we will be able to give a jump start on development for new games. And let me tell you something, okay? If Bungie is the team that you are choosing to head your live services, I'm already out. I'm literally already out of all those live services instantly because Bungie is one of the worst. Now, I'm not even sugarcoating. It is literally, the actual proper use of the word literally that most people abuse nowadays. No, Bungie is literally one of the worst teams at managing a live service. And let me explain to you why. As somebody that used to play Destiny, I played Destiny 1, played Destiny 2, rated in Destiny 2, love the crap out of Destiny, and I will give it its fair props, which is gunplay, second to none. Destiny's gunplay, the best gunplay in the business as far as I'm concerned. The gunplay is God tier, okay? 100% agree with you there. But when it comes to the live service aspect of Destiny, Bungie is a turd, a terrible, absolute, disgusting team that has no fucking idea what they're doing with a live service. Let me explain to you why. Number one, extremely predatory monetization. Okay, their monetization is among. Damn, you are really sleepy, sir. You're just like, is this boring?
Dude, we're talking about Sony and Bungie. Like, fuck me. I want both of those to just die at this point. Like, not Sony Gaming, because Sony Game Studios actually. They
make good games. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Actually, they make good games. They have good people, and they're basically poisoning their whole teams with this disgusting live service team that Bungie has, which like I said, we're going to go through the list here. Predatory monetization, one of the worst monetizations in any video game ever, okay? Straight up. Massive content droughts, which their community has to go through, where the game just basically doesn't get updated at all because they don't know how to fucking manage their talent. They're just like, you're going to get this content for 9 months straight, and you're going to fucking like it. It is what it is. And then being deceitful with their community with some of the bullshit that they've done with the XP nerf. They massively nerfed people's EXP after them having played the game for like 3 hours in a session because if people got too much EXP, they would be able to get too much currency to buy microtransactions by earning them in game. And that just wouldn't be reasonable now, would it?
No.
So they did that on the sly. And then when they got caught, they lied about it. And then people were like, no, we have the proof right here. And then they were like, okay, fine. You guys got us. Oops. We didn't really mean to do it. It just kind of happened. Blah, blah. And basically nobody remembers this, by the way. Nobody in that community even fucking remembers this, which is hilarious to me because
they have
Stockholm syndrome.
Most live server gamers have fucking dementia. They suffer 100%. From dementia.
So there's that.
And it's not just Bungie. I just quickly want to just add something on here. It's every single live service game. The game fucks up massively. 6 months later, you go, guys, remember what they did there? What? What are you talking about, bro? The game was always good. And it's like, wait, am I living in 1984? You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how are we just, like, what's going on here?
Do you remember the famous line that Asmongold would say about this, which is like, every boycott is 1 3-minute cinematic away from ending. which when it comes to live service games, it absolutely is the case. But yes, Bungie has one of the worst live stream teams ever in existence, ever, period. Predatory monetization, massive content droughts, terrible new player experience, which this is, by the way, is how you get new players into your fucking game. Like, you try to get anybody into Destiny 2 right now, and the first thing they're going to ask you is like, wait, which game do I buy? Because it's so, you have no idea. You need to go watch like a 50-minute video on YouTube to even understand which version of Destiny you need to buy, which expansions you need to buy, what are the important things, because Bungie doesn't give a fuck. They're happy if players just spend like $200 on bullshit that might not even be in the game anymore, which is another thing that they do. They call it vaulting. We're going to vault some content. Like, do you know that the version of Destiny that I bought, because I bought Destiny 2, the version of Destiny that I bought, all of the content that I did, which I spent hundreds of hours on that content, none of that content is in the game anymore. If I want to go back and play that, it's gone.
Really?
It doesn't exist. Yes, they just got rid of it. They vaulted it because there was too much content. There was so much content in the game that they just had to take some of it away. Like, it's disgusting. And then the worst part even is the way in which they sell you their new expansions. This is the thing that to me is the most egregious. And the worst part is that there's people in that community, Stockholm Syndrome enjoyers, okay, that are just like, will straight up defend this, which is whenever I tell people, like, hey, listen, you know that if you buy the expansion for Destiny 2, you don't automatically get the dungeon that's associated with that expansion. Imagine buying a World of Warcraft expansion and not getting the fucking raid tied with that expansion. You have to buy that separately. That's what you have to do in Destiny. Yes, that's the way that it works. But the thing is, this community, because of the way that they work, because whenever they buy the expansion, they also usually buy the season pass. And the dungeon is included in the season pass. So because of that, they're like, what do you mean? I always get the dungeon. Yeah, of course, because you buy extra on top of the expansion. You buy the season pass that comes with a fucking dungeon. It's disgusting. Bro, it is one of the worst companies in existence right now. And it deserves all the shit they're getting. Fuck them. Burn to the goddamn ground. That's where I stand when it comes to Bungie. Fuck them. So it's like, when you're telling me that you're going to carve off a couple of those people and you're going to put them in charge of all of the Sony live service games, bro, I am out. See ya, kid. I'm not even interested in anything that you're releasing with that fucking team in charge of it.
I wonder, like, here's what really boggles the mind. Bungie celebrates the day that Activision lets them go. Right? Because apparently it was all Bobby Kotick. You know,
because Bobby Kotick was holding them back.
Yeah.
He was holding them back.
What's fucked is that it genuinely seems like they would come to Bobby Kotick with all of these fucked up ideas, and Bobby would be like, what are you talking about? We're not doing that. The gamers will not enjoy that. Like, it genuinely seems like Bobby Kotick may actually have been the not greedy. Like, he's lazy. Do you know how greedy you have to be more greedy than fucking Bobby Kotick, bro?
Like, when Bobby Kotick is the one holding you back, dude. That's what you need to know about the Bungie team, okay? Bobby fucking Kotick was the one that was holding them back from really going full green.
What do you mean you want to sell the expansion and the raid separately? No, that is a bullshit idea. Just put the fucking raid in the expansion. No, but you don't understand. We'll increase our profits. We're already making profits. Just put the raid in there. And as soon as they were free, they were like, that raid is fucking off. Like, enjoy this final raid and this final expansion because we're about to get real.
By the way, it's not the raid, it's the dungeon. So the raid is included. Yeah. I just gave you the idea because, like, the dungeon is almost as important as a World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, just to be clear, I don't think that World of Warcraft is even too far away from that. No. I have Destiny. I bought it on when it was still on Battle.net. So I do have the game.
Wait. You think you have Destiny. All that content that you bought, that's all gone.
Okay, so that's gone. Okay.
So here's the interesting part. The version of Destiny that you play is the free-to-play version. That thing you bought is free-to-play now.
Yeah, all right. So I bought a game that's not free to play.
You bought a piece of shit.
I don't even know if I moved it over. I should probably check there. Did I move? Because at some point you had to move it over to like Steam, I think. Right? Oh yeah, I did move mine over to Steam. It's 134 gigs now. Fuck that.
See, that's why they had to vault content. They had too much content.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
they had to take it off.
What is optimization even? You know, but no, I mean, fundamentally, I agree with you. I think they should go the way of Ubisoft, right? Because Ubisoft is in absolute panic mode. And I know it's not even the topic that we have to discuss now, but it's such a short story. We may as well just quickly throw this in here because it links so perfectly with what fucking Bungie is doing. Ubisoft is also in panic mode because they just announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't doing the early access thing anymore with super, like, this is Ubisoft, dude. Gamers don't like early access, even as a pre-order bonus. Gamers don't like early access because it creates this two-tier system where some people are forced to buy early access even if the game is completely broken. We've seen that, by the way, with Star Wars Outlaws, where people bought Star Wars Outlaws early access.
And I just like to remind those people that bought Star Wars early access, I would just like to remind them, okay? Whenever they announced that you guys were going to lose your 3 days of early access save game, there was a big smile on my face like this.
Yeah, I was also celebrating that, just to be clear. I was celebrating that.
I want to make sure that you all know I had the biggest smile on my face as I was reading that.
But so gamers already reluctantly accept early access. What Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed Shadows is on their most expensive version, if you bought that, you could get 3 days early access. That is a $280 purchase.
I think that you could also get it on one of the deluxe editions, like the $90 one or whatever. I think that also includes.
I'm not entirely sure on that.
It usually does. It usually does with Ubisoft games. So I want to be fair. Okay, I want to shit on Ubisoft, but I want to be accurate.
The reason I'm not entirely sure is because they announced that they're dropping early access from that version. Okay. Now, what wouldn't make sense is if it was on some of the cheaper versions, and now they're dropping it on the most expensive version. It's like, dude, what the fuck? People are already paying a shit ton of money for this version.
The thing about this news is that we already talked about it previously in the podcast because there was that leaked memo that Yves Guillemot sent to his team. So we already knew that this was happening. This has just been the official confirmation that it is happening. But it is reducing the price of the game,
I mean, it's panic mode, right? They're also announcing that they're completely removing season passes now, officially, from Assassin's Creed Shadows. And all of this stems from the exact same thing that Bungie is doing. This slow roll of greedy decision after greedy decision after greedy decision. And eventually, you erode. You know what? Mike Morhaime had the best explanation for how a gaming company is supposed to operate. Mike Morhaime always said that there is 2 bank accounts for a gaming company. You have the physical bank account, which is where all your money goes, and then you have the goodwill bank. This is where you win players' goodwill. So by doing good things, releasing good games in good states and good quality, gamers give you goodwill. And you want to have that goodwill bank always in the green, right? Always making money, always surplus, so that when you have an oopsie, so you launch a game and it's just completely dead on arrival, you can sort of withdraw money from that goodwill bank, and players are willing to forgive that. If a company is a really good company, players are willing to forgive the nonsense that you pull because all your other games have always been very good. Take Larian Studios, for example. The next game Larian Studios brings out, right? If it is a little buggy on launch and maybe, save games get lost or whatever, gamers will be upset because obviously gamers will be upset, but they'll move on swiftly because they know Larian Studios is going to sort this out. It's going to be the same game as Baldur's Gate 3 because we know that this company makes good games.
Because they have goodwill. And Blizzard used to have that goodwill as well.
Blizzard used to have that. Bungie used to have that. And they're just, with every decision, every greedy decision they make, with Sony at the helm, they're pulling from that goodwill. At some point,
there's no goodwill left on the Bungie one.
They clearly still have
fucking degenerates in there still playing.
Yeah, but remember, those degenerates are only there because they still have a little bit of goodwill left. But Ubisoft had that for a while.
See, I don't believe that. I think those people are there because they've invested over 10 years of their lives playing.
Yeah, but remember, that's still goodwill. They remember the golden days, and they believe that those golden days will come back because Bungie used to make good games, so Bungie can obviously do it again. at some point, it's like Ubisoft, right? Ubisoft brought out Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That was the first one in the series that was really shit. Then they brought out Origins, then Valhalla, and with each one, they just made worse and worse and worse and worse decisions. And eventually, the gamers were like, dude, no more. We've had enough. Then they bring out Star Wars Outlaws, and it doesn't even manage to sell 1 million copies.
It did sell 1 million copies.
Yeah, but after, what was it? Something like 2 or 3 weeks that it finally hit. Oh, yeah, a month
First
that it
month,
finally hit 1 million copies. You should, with a AAA game, you should do 1 million in the first day at the minimum.
With Star Wars, you should make like 5 million easy in a week.
First 3 days? Dude, you should crush it in the first 3 days with Star Wars. I mean, fucking Cyberpunk did something like, was it over 10 million in the first 3 days or some shit like that?
Yeah, and then a bunch of those ended up being refunded, though.
Yeah, but Diablo 3, for example, did what, fucking 8.5 million in the first 3 days of going live. So with Star Wars, you should probably be hitting 10 million in the first 3 days, not even 5. So fundamentally, to fuck up that bad is because you have drained that bank. No one is interested in this company anymore. No one is interested in this game anymore.
Good.
And Bungie is going the same way. They don't know it yet because the death of a studio happens slowly and then all at once. And that's what we're seeing with Ubisoft. That is what we will see eventually with Bungie. Eventually, you erode everything and then it's gone. And I agree with you. It is good. They should get out of the way and make space for new companies to come in because there's a lot of talented developers there that could leave and start their own studios and actually do good things for the gaming industry. It's just sad to see games that have that potential to actually be brilliant games. You know, I remember when I played Destiny the first time, this was, of course, the content that can no longer be accessed. This was when it was on Battle.net. I actually did enjoy it. It's not really my style.
Gunplay is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really my style. It's not the kind of game that I'm going to play non-stop. But it was fun for what it was. You know, it was fun for what it was. And I could definitely see myself playing that game sort of as a throwaway game, you know? I don't know what to do. Let me go fuck around in Destiny a little bit. To see games like that just disappearing because of greedy decisions. And now what Sony is doing, what makes it even worse is you're taking this company that have done this to Bungie and you're putting them in charge of all of your live service games. That is scary because they're just going to destroy all of your live service games. Which might actually be good because I hate live service games in the first place.
I mean, it was a piss poor decision to begin with when Sony decided that we're going to make 12 live service games. And it's like, you can't sell people on, like, you need to understand, your 12 live service games are going to compete with one another for an audience, which is the dumbest thing that you can, we'll just have 12 of them. It'll be great. In a lot of ways, even Blizzard releasing Diablo 4 as a live service game is a massive fuck up because it's competing with World of Warcraft. You're fucking stupid. What is wrong with you? But, you know, everybody thinks that, we're going to make a live service game and it's going to be amazing and it's going to be grand and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no.
It's going to be good.
It's not how it works because the moment you enter the live service arena, you're already competing with every other live service in existence. Mm-hmm. And not every game is going to make Fortnite money just because you make a Fortnite clone or something along those lines. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And people are learning that the hard way. The Concord one was one of the biggest ones. People learned that lesson fucking hard, dude. There's a lot of investors right now. They're like up to here with like, what the fuck? They've got Concord stuck in their throats, dude, right now.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with you. I mean, we just spoke about WoW as well, so we should probably address that for all of the WoW fans in the chat. So I'm not entirely sure, and I want to be right up front about this drama and why this is specifically happening. And the reason for it is I don't Mythic Plus, right? I don't Mythic Plus, I don't raid. And I've been enjoying The War Within. I've told you this before, and I keep saying it. I have fun. I enjoy the game because I am not playing the game as my main game, right? I play the game sort of when I'm bored and I don't have anything else to play, I'll log into WoW and I do a bit of WoW stuff. but WoW has had a rough launch with the War Within. There's been major complaints. The dungeon rotation. So for those of you that don't know, the way dungeons work in World of Warcraft, there's 8 new dungeons with every single expansion, usually a 9th mega dungeon that comes later on, but there's 8 at the launch. Then, in the past, all 8 would be the Mythic Plus rotation. Blizzard changed that to where 4 of the new dungeons is in the Mythic Plus rotation, and then they take 4 legacy dungeons, so older dungeons, and they make those 4 part of the Mythic rotation, and then it continuously switches. So next season, the 4 that wasn't in this season will be the Mythic Plus rotation, and 4 new ones from the old raids or dungeons will become the Mythic Plus rotation.
And let me just say something about that as a Mythic Plus enjoyer, even though I'm not playing World of Warcraft right now. When I have played it in the past, I've done Mythic Plus on Dragonflight. I did Mythic Plus on Shadowlands. And I don't think I did. Which one was before Shadowlands?
BFA.
Was it Legion? No, it was BFA.
BFA.
I also did. Yes, I also did Mythic Plus on BFA. I don't think I did Mythic Plus on Legion. Even though, was it Legion when Mythic Plus was introduced?
It started in Legion, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did. I did some Mythic Plus, but I wouldn't really consider it too much because I did probably like +1s and +2s.
It was challenge modes in World of Draenor that became.
But it was also because when Legion came out, I was playing on the US servers because I was playing with people from the US, so I had a different character, and I wasn't as invested in the game at that time because whenever you're not playing your character, you're just like, do I really care about this? I really don't. Fuck this. I want to go play my other character. But like, you know, so I played a little bit of Mythic Plus then I played a ton of Mythic Plus in BFA, played a ton of Mythic Plus in Shadowlands, and a ton of Mythic Plus in Dragonflight. So I have experience with Mythic Plus. Yeah. And what I have to say is that this whole thing that they did with swapping over to having like 4 legacy dungeons, there was also another issue with it. And the issue was that those dungeons were never made to account for the new abilities that you get with the new expansion.
Yeah.
That is quite simply never the case. So what ends up happening is balance is a shit show. It's an absolute fucking shit show when it comes to balancing Mythic Plus. And it is more often than not a fucking miserable experience for people that actually want to do it competitively. Yeah. I say competitively, even though it's a PvE thing, but a lot of people are like, I want to push the highest fucking keys. Let's go. You know, all of that shit, right? And in my opinion, I think that Blizzard has done a piss poor job with the whole 8-4 thing that they've been doing. And they need to do better. And what is happening right now, it just feels like it is a frustration that I felt often with Mythic Plus. And now it's just a lot of people are finally getting to the point where, hey, we've had it with this bullshit. This is some fucking nonsense. You guys are fucking crazy. Like the fact that, say, for instance, you main a warrior and you get to a specific season where warrior is not even viable. Yeah. Okay? We're not even talking about being good. It's not even viable to the point where you can't even get a group. You just can't get a group unless you have a group of friends that you're doing a full-on pre-med. You can't even get a group because people are like, no, I need a blood. At the time that this was during like BFA, people were like, no, Blood Death Knight or Brewmaster Monk or nothing. That's it. Those were the tanks. You had Blood Death Knight, Brewmaster Monk, and everybody else can go piss off because they died too fast. And it's stupid. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Not to mention that the punishing thing, if people losing their keys and shit whenever they're doing these things and the keys downgrading, it's miserable. It's a miserable experience for everybody. People do it because they want to grind for the gear. Me, I've always done it because I just like doing dungeons. That's the thing. I like doing dungeons. I think dungeons are fun. But God, Blizzard just make things so hard to even try to enjoy that it doesn't surprise me the communities finally reach a boiling point. They're like, fuck this plus nonsense. This is bullshit.
Well, the issue is the balance. So people have been complaining about balance. Yeah. The other thing is Blizzard, in order to make the dungeons even harder, they've added so many interrupts that pugging has become almost impossible. Unless you have a group where you can actually audibly discuss who needs to interrupt when.
Cycling interrupts? Damn.
Yeah, it's almost impossible, right? So people have been majorly complaining about this. One of the things I see most often on Twitter is people literally sharing their key just started and then people leave. Yeah. So they ruin the key as soon as they get in because they just realize, this group isn't going to do it. I'm going to fuck off. Now you've just ruined your key. Congratulations.
You want to know one of the examples that I've experienced of this? I think this was during BFA, because they even transformed it into a dungeon mechanic later. But what happened was, you know how rogues have that shroud ability?
Yeah.
So what they would do is you would have to bring a rogue. You know, the optimal pull for dungeons would be like, okay, we need a rogue to shroud this pack all the way over. So you'd have to take a rogue with you, otherwise it wouldn't work. And what happens in those situations is that sometimes somebody will die in the middle of a Mythic Plus. And maybe because they're still like learning the ropes or something or whatever, and they've died and they're like, oh, I gotta, quickly run back and see if I can still help salvage the situation. So they release. And as they release, they go back to the beginning of the dungeon. They forget that they shrouded past a bunch of mobs. So now you're running back thinking that you're about to save the day. You're like, oh shit, guys, I might have just aggroed the world. Oops. Yeah. And now you wipe everybody and everybody's just pissed off because like, oh, now we've wasted like 5 minutes. I'm not going to get my +2 or whatever the fuck in this key. And everybody just loses their shit and they start leaving. Because everything in Mythic Plus is about punishing you. It's just about punishing. Everything is a fucking punishment. There's no carrots. There's only sticks. There's not even a carrot at the end because you don't even get fucking loot in Mythic Plus, which is another miserable.
This is the other problem. Blizzard also changed, and this is the thing that actually is killing pugging. Death timers. So for those of you that don't know, in a Mythic Plus, you have a set amount of time that you have to complete it in order to get your chest, in order to get a chance at loot, and for your key to actually upgrade. The death timers used to be 5 seconds per death. So every single person that dies, you lose 5 seconds off of your timer, so you have less time to do it in. That's been increased to 15 seconds.
Hell yeah!
So what
more
happens
stick.
Now?
Blizzard only knows how to balance things with a stick. There's no carrots in Blizzard games, only sticks.
You think about that. A wipe now is 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Yep.
That's gone. It's wiped off of your time. And for a lot of pug groups, they will barely make it within the timer. So this has led to one wipe, everyone leaves. Your key's done. Because they know they're not going to be able to complete it. They may as well just stop. Because once you wipe, you have to restart. You have to rerun back to where you wiped. Then everyone has to buff up again. So you're wasting at least 2 to 3 minutes just trying to get back into the dungeon. I don't mean 2 to 3. I mean all over, including the minutes that the minute 15 seconds you lost from wiping. So this is killed pugging. And now it turns out with the new patch, the new anniversary event that just went live, based on just logging into Twitter today, happy-go-lucky, skipping along my way, log into Twitter, fucking dumpster fire. Everyone is complaining because Blizzard have somehow managed to make the balance even worse.
No.
According to everyone, Blizzard buffed the wrong classes, nerfed the wrong classes, and the balance is even worse than it was before. Yeah. So it really does seem like Blizzard just can't win.
Paladins were buffed. Demon Hunters were buffed.
I have no idea.
Warriors were nerfed. That's pretty much what I expect. It's like usually Paladins and Demon Hunters, those guys are always safe. Brewmaster Monks, it's a bit of a crapshoot. Death Knights are usually pretty safe as well. But then you get to like Warriors. Warriors can get fucked. Hunters can get fucked. There's a bunch of classes that always end up getting fucked.
Dude,
it's all the same ones.
You have it to the point where people are forming groups in Group Finder in WoW. And the name of the group is literally Protest. And
I've
they're just writing all of the things that's wrong with the game. So they're not even trying to set up groups. They're just protesting against the shit that's happening at the moment. So WoW is also in a very tough spot.
Listen, let me teach people, by experience, by the way, the best way to protest in World of Warcraft, okay? And by the way, this is the only way that you will ever, and I'm not exaggerating, you might think, oh no, the World of Warcraft teams listens to us. Bullshit. Here's the one thing that the World of Warcraft team will react to. You want to know what that is? You go up to that account management page and you unsub. That is literally the only thing the World of Warcraft team listens to. And I know this from experience. So you can take my experience or leave it. Do whatever the fuck you want. But to me, it's like, you want change? Unsub. That's the only way to get change.
I absolutely agree with you. The reason that works in World of Warcraft and why making groups saying protest isn't necessarily going to work.
It's not
It
going to
will
do
work
anything.
if Blizzard is paying attention and they want to change it.
No, it won't. It won't.
But the
work.
only reason that will work and what you're doing does have some value is there's already people unsubbing. And that might give Blizzard a reason as to why people are unsubbing.
Unsub.
The fact that you're writing
Just
those protest stuff. But you see it now. I mean, Helldivers. People started mass voting down Helldivers on Steam. What did Helldivers do? They had to fly fucking right because no one wants a mostly negative rating on Steam.
What? People didn't pre-order Assassin's Creed Shadows. What happened? Oh shit, this is really, really bad. We're going to change everything to be more appeasing to the consumers. And it's been like I've been saying, dude, 2024 has been such an amazing year simply because I finally get to see people vote with their wallets, which for some reason I feel like you and I at least have been saying this for over a decade at this point. Guys, vote with your wallets. Vote, please vote with your wallets. And people never did. They'd be like, oh, I'm so mad, but I'm still going to, subscribe and do all of this shit. And it's like, no, vote with your wallets. Fucking, let them know. Because if you don't hit them in the wallet, they will never, ever, ever change. This doesn't happen.
Yeah. But I do think also gamers have had enough. Because you're seeing it with Space Marine 2 as well, right? And Space Marine 2 had an amazing launch by all accounts. But then the Space Marine 2 team from Saber Interactive decided to make a bunch of nerfs and nerf some of the people's favorite game stuff.
I wasn't aware of that.
And what did the gamers do? They started downvoting the game.
There you go.
They just started downvoting the game.
Fucking take control.
Yeah. Gamers have had enough. Gamers are just now realizing that the power
that we've not with them, with us. I'm a gamer too. That we finally realized, I guess, that the power has always been with us all along, which is something that I've been saying for years. But most people are just like, no, I'm still gonna do the thing and do the thing. It's like, listen, things are only gonna change if we want them to change. That's the only way.
I mean, speaking of power, because that's the WoW stuff out of the way. The story is still very good. The game, for me at least, is very good. But if you are a competitive player in any way, shape, or form, you're probably going to struggle.
There's one reason why I want to play this expansion, and it's only one reason. And to be honest, the further I get away from the expansion launch, the less I will likely do it. Because I think that probably further ahead, delves are going to change, and they're going to give you another companion, I would assume, as opposed to Brand Bronzebeard. Yeah. If I don't get into the game before they swap out the dungeon companion, I probably will never get into the game. Because one of the only reasons I want to hang out with Brand Bronzebeard, dude. Brand Bronzebeard is awesome. That's the biggest thing. I want to hang out with Brand Bronzebeard, and I want to play what's that warrior subclass for the dwarves? The Mountain King?
Earthen.
No, the warrior. Every class now has subclasses, hero specs, whatever the fuck they're called. And one of the warrior ones is the Mountain King or whatever, which is obviously a reference to dwarves in Warcraft. And it's like, I want to play that spec, and I want to hang out with Brand Bronzebeard, and that's it. I don't want to do no fucking Mythic Plus because I've had it with people sweating too much. Because that's the other thing, right? They're having this problem with Mythic Plus because they want Mythic Plus to be a fucking sweatshop. And it's like, listen, your sweatshop, the place where all the sweats go, should be your raids, not your Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus is where people go after they've sweated it out on a Mythic raid. They want to go to a Mythic Plus and fucking chill. People want to chill. And Blizzard's like, no, I'm going to hit you with a stick every step of the fucking way.
The other problem
I don't want to be miserable in Mythic Plus. I'm already miserable when I'm doing your raids.
You see, the other problem with Mythic Plus as well is the ramp is a lot steeper now. So once you get into Mythic Plus 1, it's already like hard. Mythic Plus 2, way harder. So the jumps are much more pronounced now. I think players aren't used to that.
You want to know what I think is still one of the biggest problems with Mythic Plus? Is that literally the hardest job of a Mythic Plus is always the tank. And the tank is already, one of the roles that has a lot of responsibility in a dungeon. So not only at that point is the tank responsible for keeping up the pace of the dungeon, they also have to know the dungeon inside and out to know exactly how much fucking percentage each of these packs give so that he can make the fucking optimal route. And it's like, bro, Yeah, everybody that plays Mythic Plus that has never played a tank on a Mythic Plus, you have no fucking idea how miserable it is to have to memorize every goddamn fucking pull. And it's stupid. It's not interesting gameplay.
I agree with you.
Like, Blizzard needs to do something so that me as a tank, I don't have to constantly be thinking about, oh yeah, that pack is going to give us like 5%, and that other pack is going to give us like 1.2. So if I pull this and that instead of this and that, because that pack is harder this week, specifically this week, because this week there's a modifier that makes that pack be more.
Luckily, most of the modifiers are gone.
Fuck all that nonsense, dude. And you all know that everybody does the same thing. They download Mythic Dungeon Tools, whatever the fuck it is, and they go to Dratnos to get the roots, and then they're just like, okay, so this week, here's my root. Here's the thing that I got to do. You might as well just put like a fucking GPS on top of my character with an arrow pointing. Beep,
unironically,
beep,
that
beep,
might
beep,
actually be the solution.
That might actually be better. I would actually like Mythic Plus more if I didn't have to think about fucking percentages all the goddamn time. Imagine reaching the end of a Mythic Plus and being like, fuck, 98%. Fuck me. Fuck this. Now we have to go back and kill something else. Like, that's so miserable. It's so fucking dumb.
I mean, just a little bit. I mean, this could be maybe a tip for Blizzard. How about you just put the percentage bonus on top of the mobs in a pack? So if you click on a mob in a pack, it gives you a percentage, and you know you're going to get this much percentage off of this pack immediately, right? It's right there on top of their bar. Oh, this one gives 5%, this one gives 2.5. Okay, no problem. So just a little bit of information might actually go a long way, because I do agree with you. As a tank, you already have a lot of jobs, and now you also have this job on top of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because like when I was doing Mythic Plus as a DPS, I was like, oh man, this is so chill. Ooh, oh man. Hell yeah. Press these buttons, big numbers come on screen, follow that guy. Perfect. I love it. Meanwhile, the tanks over there like, okay, like fucking Zach Galifianakis with the fucking calculations in front of me. Like, he's like on, okay, I know, okay, pull this and pull that. It's
like, bro. From players having power to players having power, we'll very quickly discuss Unknown 9 Awakening. Those of you that watched last week will know that we discussed the game. This studio, just to remind all of you, is a studio that is there to upend the gaming industry. They claim
leaders of transmedia and all of this stuff.
Yeah. They're the studio of the future, according to them. Now, I have amazing news about this studio of the future. Their game launched, and it had an all-time peak of 276 players. And currently there are 54 players in the game. So from what I can tell, this is not the legendary company that is gonna upend the gaming industry. I might be wrong, Rurkon. Are they gonna like change the gaming industry forever? Like, are we just not seeing the potential here? What's going on?
They're changing it very slightly. They're making very minor changes. It's like, you know how in the beach you have like those big waves that people ride and they surf, and then you have the little waves that form at the end. That's Unknown 9. It's one of the smaller waves.
Yeah.
They're making waves in the industry.
Yeah.
But just not very big.
Yeah. Now, to be fair to everyone that may be listening, there will be a subset of people on Twitter and on YouTube that will tell you the sole reason this game failed is Sweet Baby Inc. and woke politics.
I would not agree with that at all.
Yeah, but I agree, but also disagree. Allow me to explain. To say that it is just the woke bullshit and SBI's fault would not explain the terrible gameplay that this game had, the bugs aplenty in this game, the story that is beyond boring. Now, Sweet Baby Inc. will absolutely have a role to play in this story, because remember, Sweet Baby Inc. is story consultants. That's what they do. They come in and they give you tips on how to write a better story, a more inclusive story, a more diverse story. But that doesn't mean that you can't still have a good story. The reason your story is shit is because you had no one creative writing the fucking thing. And it was probably some intern somewhere that just scribbled a bunch of shit down. Because I've read through all of the reviews of the game, and everyone says the same thing. The story is beyond boring. It's like mind-numbingly boring. And also, apparently, a lot of the events in the story makes no sense. Like, something happens, and then the next thing starts, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
How do these two pieces connect together?
Yeah. They don't connect at all. And people who finish the game say they still don't connect. It's like just random shit.
So it's like I don't like to just take my opinion based on reviews and stuff like that. I like to actually play games for myself. But having said that, in order to play a video game, I have to actually like it. I've seen gameplay of Unknown 9 Awakening. I actually watched some yesterday because I was curious about the game, and the game is just a buggy fucking mess. Like the person I was playing, she possessed this character, and then as she starts moving this character, the character's moving backwards for some reason.
Oh, nice. Moonwalk.
So it's like moonwalking into a different position. Then
role playing Michael
at the same
Jackson.
time, the character has like this scarf, and the scarf was glitched. So it was like it was just completely immersion breaking the way that the scarf was glitched, and it wouldn't move properly, it wouldn't animate properly. Then the actual animations of the character herself were garbage. The performance was fucking terrible, and I was like, wow. I was looking at that and I was like, that doesn't look good. So it's like you're coming in, you're talking about like the woke stuff, and it's like, yeah, maybe the woke stuff might be a problem, but I'm looking at this gameplay and I'm like, there are so many more problems here.
Yeah. But this goes back to the conversation that you and I had last week, where I told you why pronouns in the starting screen makes me immediately suspicious.
Because you think that they're spending more time working on pronouns than fixing performance issues and
their priorities aren't right? This is the main thing. It's as soon as you get Sweet Baby Inc. or any one of these consultants in to fix your game, it immediately tells me that your priority isn't on making a good game. Your priority is on making a politically correct game. I mean, what's the fucking point? If the game itself, like, at least if you nail... Look, we've seen woke games do incredibly well because the people making the game are actually spending time making the fucking game. Larian Studios' Baldur's Gate 3. That is a game with super woke elements to it. It sold through the roof. People loved it. Why? Because the basic foundations of the game is solid. It's good. People loved playing the game. And you know, the woke stuff you can...
This is why I like playing the games and then judging for myself whether I think it's worth playing or not.
Yeah, but I mean, fundamentally, I think there is a type of metric that you can use where you don't even have to play the game. I'm with you. I don't normally focus all my energy on reviews, but when I read the reviews and every single one of the reviews is bad, and they're all complaining about the exact same thing, that gives you a decent understanding of what is actually going on in this game. But you also have Cyberpunk. I keep using Cyberpunk as the example because Cyberpunk is also a very diverse game. It's a super inclusive game. In fact, the main character of the game isn't even white. They're Hispanic, right? The whole backstory is Hispanic. You can't change that. Even if you make the character look white, they're still fucking Hispanic because that's their backstory. That's where they come from.
That's
no one complained.
No, that's
no one complained, right?
I'm out. Too woke.
Rurikod doesn't want that. But no one complained. And the reason no one complained is because the foundations were there. There was a good game.
No, actually, that's why I haven't played Cyberpunk yet. It's too woke.
Oh, there you go. He'll come around. He'll be a lefty soon enough. But this is the kind of stuff that is killing the gaming industry. You have the same thing happening with Tales of Kenzera, right? Tales of Kenzera, another game that came out, also Sweet Baby Inc. woke stuff, and it reached an all-time peak of 232 players. So these woke consultants are destroying the video game industry because these consultants keep telling the executives at these companies, your game will not do well if it's not woke. And then these executives spend all of their effort, time, and money making their games woke without actually going, you know what? People actually have to play this fucking shit. Like, maybe we should just ensure that there is a solid... Suicide Squad is probably the best example I have of this. You have a game where you literally allow people to play with Harley Quinn. They can kill a bunch of superheroes. Like, dude, that's the easiest thing to make a fucking game about. You just need to nail the gameplay, really. That's all. If the gameplay's good, people will play the shit out of that.
I think there's
But then you spend more time making it woke.
Like, listen, I think there's plenty of other issues with Suicide Squad, despite how woke it might or might not be. Because I haven't played it. I don't actually know. I don't actually give a fuck about Suicide Squad. Yeah, but
if you note, I never said that it's the wokeness that made it fail. It's the fact that you spent all of your time trying to make the game acceptable rather than focus your time on actually just making the game good. Right? And that's my issue with this. I know there's people, you and I spoke about this just before the stream, right? There are people that are absolutely hyper-focused on the woke stuff. And I tried to,
It's actually gotten somewhat frustrating to me because here's the thing. I do think that it is important for us to call out whenever there's blatant tokenism in a video game because that ends up being actually bad for the people that it is trying to, provide representation for. Because all it's going to do is generate more animosity because not only you've forcibly included this character in a position that it definitely shouldn't be in, but on top of it now you're going to get animosity from the people that play the game and don't like the way that character was included. So it just ends up being a net negative for anyone whenever it's not done right. And from all the examples that we've seen from SBI, most of the times it appears that these people are not getting it right. So our problem is not with diversity or how woke shit is or whatever the fuck. It's whether or not you're going to make a good game. That is the important thing to focus on. And one of the things that I've been noticing is that nowadays people will look at the smallest thing. Like, for instance, Wayfinder as a character has got pink hair. Woke garbage! And I'm just like, God fucking bro, please, for the love of God. Because, like, at that point, we can't even take this shit seriously anymore. If you're going to point out at literally everything, like it was the same thing with Monster Hunter when they announced that, we now are allowing people to wear whatever the fuck armor they want to wear. Male armor, female armor, you wear whatever the fuck you want. Which was, again, a community feature that was heavily requested ever since that I became more dedicated to providing content for Monster Hunter. I've seen it time and time again in my comment section. Like, oh man, I wish I could wear this piece of male armor or that piece of male armor or whatever. And the moment it was announced, people were like, woke garbage. It's like, no, not everything is woke. Like, God, it's so exhausting right now.
But you see, this is the thing. I spoke to you before the stream started. One thing that you have to understand, and this is the viewers, you have to understand that human beings are creatures of snap judgments.
And
we make snap judgments.
Pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition, we're very good at that, right? So we recognize, and we need it to be, because it's what kept us alive. You see the bush sort of fucking wrestling over there, you run the fuck away. Because there might be a tiger or a lion in there.
It's not a good surprise. It's a bad surprise.
Or the chances of it being a bad surprise is much higher than the chances of it just being a little butterfly. So fundamentally, you just run away. So we're very good at pattern recognition. Seeing something and then making a snap judgment about that something. My biggest frustration with the DEI stuff, with the woke bullshit in video games, has been this. I hate when people push their politics into my video games. Note, I did not say that I hate games having politics. That's fine, but I don't want to hear vote Kamala the next time I fucking load up Origins or whatever, right? Or when I'm playing Cyberpunk.
Nobody wants to be lectured to, is the point.
Yeah, literally that, right? But here's my bigger issue with the DEI stuff. Because of what these consultants and these gaming companies are doing, you now have people making snap judgments as soon as they see something in a game. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about who this was. Rurikon knows who this was. But I had this debate literally yesterday. I was showing someone the cinematic for Exodus. Now, I'm super hyped for Exodus. Exodus starts with a guy and a girl running in the cinematic, and they're on this planet, and the girl falls through on the spaceship. The second this person saw the girl, they're like, woke bullshit, and they stopped watching.
Exactly.
Right? Now, do I blame them for being close-minded? No, because they're doing the thing that humans do. Yeah. They see something, they recognize the pattern, and they make the snap judgment. This is a woke game. The reason this pisses me off, if Lara Croft's Tomb Raider, the last 3 Tomb Raiders that just released from Square Enix, if those games released today, no one would play them. They would be 200, 300 viewers. And those are some of the best fucking games you can play. They are phenomenal. The story is phenomenal. Lara Croft is a phenomenal character. Her voice actress is phenomenal. It's a good, solid game. No one would play it because people would see, female lead, girl boss, woke. I'm not playing it, right? And you would have these massive boycotts. And it's not the gamer's fault. It's the companies that keep pushing the shit into their video games, making bad games for political reasons, and then people just start recognizing this pattern, and soon, really awesome games that should technically be blockbuster video games will just get no viewers and no players because people make those snap judgments and then they move on. It's annoying to me because I love, don't get me wrong, I love Witcher 3. I love being Geralt and just killing monsters. But I also loved being Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. It was an amazing experience. I like both of these things to exist, but the gaming industry needs to wake up and realize that they are doing incredible damage.
Nier Automata, fucking amazing game.
Yeah.
I love Bayonetta, fucking amazing. And I had another one here that I was going to bring up in this. Oh yeah,
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. Exactly. That's what I was about. It's like fucking awesome games.
Yeah.
All have female leads and nobody complains. Like, nah, bro. Can't.
But again, it's this continuous thing that's happening, and it's going to keep getting worse because the gaming industry keeps making it worse.
Yeah.
I want us to get back to a place where you're making games where the female characters don't look like ass on purpose. If you have a reason for making them look like ass, be clear about that reason and make it fit, right? But don't just do it because you want to uglify the characters. And no, gamers are not porn-brained because of this, despite what...
I keep saying, I don't think that K-Vess is that ugly to begin with, but
it's
I also
not just K-Vess, obviously.
But I also don't think that Ubisoft artists are talented enough to portray female character.
It is possible, but I mean,
I just don't think you guys are good enough. I'm sorry.
I made a video on this earlier in the week because the lead writer for Origins, you and I spoke about this last week, right? The lead writer for Origins. Or not Origins, for Inquisition and now Veilguard also, one of the writers, called all gamers, male gamers, porn-brained and whatnot, because they want hot female characters. Do you know how many women commented on that video saying, I'm a woman and I will not play a game where the lead character looks like ass. I want girls that look hot in video games. I watch World of Warcraft and I see the girls playing World of Warcraft and all of their characters are made to look super hot. And also, slut mogs, right? Super sexy, super slutty, because the girls are role-playing fantasy. You know, that's the whole point of video games, is fantasy. It's selling the fantasy. So it's annoying when you see the gaming industry just completely twist what video games are meant to be, and it is that escape from reality. So, you know, I hope that this comes to an end. I hope we can eventually get to a place where people stop buying into this nonsense and actually just get back to making good video games. If you ever find yourself in a company where you're making video games or making movies or series or anything of that nature, the second you start asking yourself, well, should we actually have this character in here because it might make some people feel bad about themselves, you've already gone too far. Make the character based on how you wanted to make the character, and then let people decide how they feel about the character. But don't try to include everyone.
I sent you a picture of a female character right now.
Uh-huh.
Would you say that is a sexualized character? That is a character that looks super hot or something like that? Or is it just a regular...
Cool. She looks cool as shit.
She looks cool, but you wouldn't say that she's like overtly sexualized or anything like that, right?
No, but there's a celebration of femininity, but also a badass look to it. I like this.
So that right there is Sortiara from the video game Soul Sacrifice. She is a character that I will never forget because she was included in a part of the story of Soul Sacrifice that is very much like super important character. I don't want to spoil it for people that might eventually one day decide to play Soul Sacrifice on the fucking PlayStation Vita, which is probably never going to happen. But I'm still not going to spoil it for you. You can find information online if you're curious. But she's a character that will mark you very early on. And guess what? Not a single bit of what she does in the game has anything to do with her sexuality. And that... she's just a fucking awesome character. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's all you need to do. It's like, it doesn't need to be super hot. It doesn't need to be super sexualized. It just needs to be a cool-ass character.
Dude, not every character needs to look like the Stellar Blade chick.
Exactly.
Right?
They don't need to look like Eve or 2B or anything like that. It doesn't need to look like that.
But your character can also not look like a 12-year-old boy. Because people notice that. Specifically when we have the model that you paid to base the character on. And we go, you chose a model and then you made the character look nothing like the model. What the fuck was the point of paying all this money if you're not even going to use the model? Then just use a normal body actress. Because you get people that just do body work and you don't need them for the face because you're going to make your own face. Why pay someone for their likeness if you're not even going to use their likeness? And people notice that, and they know that there is some kind of reason behind it, despite what people want to pretend like there isn't. But never mind that. Let's move on, because these games are failing, and you know what? As one journalist said yesterday, it's a good thing. These companies need to fail. They need to continue to fail until they realize that this is not what gamers want. Let's talk instead. Yeah?
Yeah. I'm not even going to say they need to fail. To me, it's like, hey, if you're able to find your market, great. But guess what? You haven't found it yet. Keep searching.
The modern audience is right around the corner. Keep making that game. They'll show up at some point. But let's talk about something a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. Right at the tail end of this fucking stream, of this podcast. Wayfinder Launch.
Yes! Wayfinder launched 1.0. This is a game that I've personally been championing because I really like the game. I think this game is a ton of fun. I think they got brutally done dirty by Digital Extremes, who are the makers of Warframe. But basically, this was a game that was supposed to launch as like an MMO type game. It's going to basically play kind of like Warframe. So, you know how in Warframe you unlock Warframes, and in this game you would be unlocking Wayfinders, which are essentially characters that are kind of like your class that you play as. And then you were going to be unlocking weapons, stuff like that, and it was going to be a massive grind, right? Because that's what you need to do with a live service game. You need to slow your grind down to a halt. But because Digital Extremes basically told them to go pound sand, we're not going to, give you money anymore, despite the fact that the main reason why this game crashed and burned on its launch was because Digital Extremes servers shat the bed. So basically the guys who made Warframe are the principal people responsible for the shitty situation that the game found itself in, which is currently sitting on mixed on Steam, which is probably a stain they'll never be able to get rid of because of the launch problems. After they completely fucked up the launch of this game, they then just said, hey, you know what? We're not going to publish you guys anymore. See ya. That's it. They're just like, goodbye. So they took a decent chunk of the money that the game made, and then they sent them on their way. It's like, wait, what the fuck?
That's disgusting, actually.
And basically, the developers of Wayfinder then saw themselves in a position where it's like, well, we have our IP at least. We have our game. But the problem is, we can't afford these servers because they're a small team. It's Airship Syndicate. And this, by the way, is the team that is also behind the Darksiders series. For people that know, they did that Riot game, something Throne, whatever. It's an RPG.
Oh, yeah.
They did Battle Chasers Night War. And they have a really cool art style, which is Joe Madureira's art style. It's fucking phenomenal. And so what they did with this was they then took the game to a bunch of other publishers to try and, we need somebody to actually help us support these server costs so that we can keep launching our game. And they went around for a couple of months, but as they, because the position that they were put in when Digital Extremes cut them, they were looking at the industry and they were going like, things are not looking too good. Nobody's buying right now. This is really bad. So they basically knew that we can either keep looking for a publisher, which may or may not happen, and eventually the game might have to go away because, this is an online-only game, right?
Yeah.
Or we can start a process of converting this online-only game into an offline game. And then if we can't find a publisher, we can just publish the game ourselves, and it's an offline game, and anybody can play it. So that's pretty much what they did. They started a process, and within 3 months, they converted the whole game from being server client infrastructure to basically being a standard single-player game with optional co-op, so you can still play with friends.
Wow.
Not even just with friends. There's a server browser, so you can see whenever somebody's playing, and you can you can join in on somebody else's game and whatnot if you want to do some co-op and stuff like that. 3-player co-op, and basically they kept working on this because they realized they weren't going to be able to get a publisher to go with them to do the whole live service thing that they wanted to do. And as a result, they're like, okay, we have all this content. We have all of these skins and stuff that we're going to make for people to be able to buy or grind and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they just put everything as drops into the game.
Oh,
so you'll open up a chest and you just get a weapon skin. Or an actual weapon, and whenever you get a new weapon, you automatically unlock the skin of that weapon as well. So that's I really like the way that this weapon looks, even though I'm using a different one. You can swap the skins. And that's what they did. They put all of the content they ever worked on, boom, and they added a new zone. And I played the game when they did the transformation, and I was like, man, I love this game. Game is awesome, but I don't want to play it in early access, right? I played it in early access. I know I like it. I think it's awesome. I want to play it when it releases. And it released this week. And I started playing it again. And God damn, it's a good game. And if it just feels so good. Here's something that I feel like we don't talk about enough because we usually, as gamers, we've gotten used to companies selling you cosmetic microtransactions, right? So you're just we just expect that shit to happen. But seeing in this game where I think they have a supporter pack because they did a collaboration with Critical Role or whatever. So you can get skins specifically about Critical Role, and that is something that you have to pay for. But other than that, all the skins, you can unlock them by just playing the game. And it just feels so good to get something in the game and then apply that cosmetic to your character because this is something, I found this in a dungeon and I found this one thing and it was random because, it was just happened to come out of a chest. But I found this really cool sword and shield skin. It just reminded me that this means so much more to me that I have this skin that I found in the game than if I had given 99 cents for it. I would give no value to it if I had given 99 cents for it. And that's something that I feel we as gamers have kind of forgot. The whole thing that unlocking cosmetics feels good actually. And it's more it has a more visceral reaction than fucking buying them.
Yeah. No, definitely. Because you're actually working for it, right? And you can appreciate what you worked for. I wish them the best of luck. I know you gifted me a code. I'm yet to play it. I will definitely be getting to it. No, I will definitely be getting to it.
You're going to love it because this thing has the Joe Mad's art style actually shares some similarities with World of Warcraft, big chunky characters and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Really, really cool.
All right.
It'll probably be a Grendel main. I can see it. Grendel main or Kairos. Something like that.
I will definitely give it a go. Because, when I looked at the actual cinematics of it, it definitely got me interested, right? I definitely felt this could actually be quite cool. Then we have to talk about, of course, the thing that Rurikon will not be attending. He won't be able to play this because he's a father and he has to take care of his children because his children matter, and he should absolutely spend all of his time with his kids as a good father would do, right?
I'm playing this like a fucking degenerate, dude. Like I'm back in the early 2000s, baby.
Oh shit!
Like Monster a fucking degenerate. Woo! Yeah, it was announced. They did an event. It was just yesterday because we're recording this on Thursday, so it would have been last Wednesday by the time you guys watch this. They did this event where they talked about some of the new things. They announced some new monsters, one of the new locations. One of the monsters is a fucking Cthulhu octopus, dude.
Whoa.
Cthulhu octopus, bro. Okay? You need to understand. Yeah. You got to play this game. But yeah, they did all that, and then at the end of that, they announced, by the way, Monster Hunter demo is going to be coming, and it's going to be just next week. So by the time you're watching this podcast, should be shortly after this, that the demo will actually go live. And once the demo goes live, you can go in and you can experience the game for the first time to the general audience, people that haven't been to events and shit like that.
Is this for PC as well?
Yes. However, as with all things involving PlayStation, there's a catch.
Of course there is.
There's a catch. So the way that it works is it will be available on PC, I believe, Thursday evening. Very late. I think it's 3 a.m. So probably from Thursday to Friday at 3 a.m. my time, which I don't know what time that'll be for you. But I'm talking like 3 a.m. GMT. You guys figure it out, do the conversions and whatnot. And that is going to be available for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. PC on Steam, by the way. It's not like PC on Epic or some other random bullshit.
Yeah,
Steam.
Finally. The only real platform that matters, Steam.
Not finally. Capcom launches all of their shit on Steam. But, you know.
No, so but I mean, in the gaming industry in general.
And it has crossplay enabled by default, so you can crossplay with people from all platforms and all that stuff. So it's going to go live on, again, the evening of Thursday for us in Europe, evening of Thursday to Friday. That's when it goes live to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. But if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber,
of course,
it goes live on Monday evening instead, so like 3 days earlier than it would on all the other platforms, because Sony probably gave Capcom a bag full of money to give them a little bit of exclusivity on the demo, which is this is something that I was talking about because I was talking with my friend Gaijin Hunter yesterday during the event, and I was telling them, like, listen, I'm telling you, there's something fishy about the announcement if they do announce anything, because of the fact that PlayStation is also streaming the event. So PlayStation had their own stream of the event that went live at the same time as Monster. And I'm like, that's not usual. You usually don't have that stuff. And that's when they announced, by the way, if you have PlayStation Plus, you get to play it early. That is PlayStation modus operandi. And here's the interesting thing. A lot of people will be like, that's so worthless. Why would PlayStation spend that money? I've already seen 2 people on Twitter that straight up bought PlayStations to play the demo 3 days early. They straight up picked up PlayStation 5s to play this demo. Not only the PlayStation 5, because they're going to pick up a PlayStation 5 and then they're going to pay for 1 month of PlayStation Plus to play the demo early. Okay? So it's like when people say, oh, it's a waste of money, it's like, no, Sony's making their money back, guaranteed. Because this is just like 2 people that I randomly saw in the thing. So they're already making a bunch of money that way. And yeah, there's probably going to be a bunch more people that way.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if there's really an argument that can be made for this, all right? Because what are we supposed to say?
It's a terrible practice. Like I don't agree. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I think it's terrible, and I think every time that Sony does something like this, it's like we were talking earlier about the Goodwill Bank. They're withdrawing from the Goodwill Bank, because even Sony customers, like, because I know people that, you know, they're subscribed to PlayStation Plus right now and whatever. Blah, blah. Hell, I think I'm even subscribed to Plus because I played Remnant 2 when the latest DLC came out, and I wanted to play it multiplayer, so I had to play Plus. So I had to pay Plus. But regardless of that, even people that are active PlayStation Plus subscribers are going like, well, what the fuck? I don't want this. I want to be able to play with my friends, because like they have friends that are playing on PC. and their friends on the PC are not going to be able to play with them at the same time. So there's still a degree of separation. Like, we're breaking down barriers with this crossplay stuff, which is really cool. But at the same time, PlayStation is like clinging on to all of these little, bits that they possibly can to like, give us the demo 3 days early access. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. What are you doing? You're segregating communities for no reason.
The thing that, as long as there's a market where these guys can make more money, they're going to keep doing it. And the fact is, we have on this, as one of the topics, and we're about to end the podcast. So we may just end with this. Exclusives. And I'm not even just talking about Sony locked exclusives. All exclusives, in my opinion, are bad for the gaming industry. It's bad in general because if you're a console maker, right? So the makers of console do not make their money off of the consoles that they're selling. They make their money off of the games that they sell, because you can only sell one console to one person for a 2-year period. Some of those people, a percentage of those people, will buy the Pro version or the Slim version or whatever, but most people will buy the PlayStation 5, and then that's what they'll own until the PlayStation 6 rolls around, or you have some massive leap in technology for a PlayStation 5, right? But games, I can sell one person 100 games in a 2-year period, right? So I can make a hell of a lot more money off of the games than what I can make off of the console. So when Sony and Microsoft and Epic Games and all these guys do their exclusive bullshit, they're just leaving money on the table, because we see this time and time again. Games are exclusive to PlayStation for what is it, a year, and then it goes to PC.
It's between 1.5 years, 2 years.
I mean,
depends.
Final
on the game,
Fantasy 16 just, I think, launched on Steam recently, right?
Have you played it? That game's awesome, dude.
No, I haven't played it yet. I didn't even know. You see, because when the hype for the fucking game was happening, it wasn't available on Steam. So you're not getting, like, I didn't even know. Yesterday I went live and people were asking me, dude, are we playing Final Fantasy 16? I'm like, the fuck? I don't have a PlayStation. And they're like, no, it's on Steam. I'm like, oh, when?
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that I've been saying, is that people will resent being second-class citizens.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that a lot of companies don't understand how much gamers resent being treated like trash. Because like these exclusives, it's basically what you're doing is you're exchanging future profits for the benefit of getting money right now. That's what you're doing whenever you're doing an exclusive deal. And it's a different thing if you're talking about like a God of War, because that is developed internally, so that's a different thing. But if you're talking about like if you're talking about like a Final Fantasy or something like that, you're basically leaving money on the table, because people will remember, and a lot of people will actually be like, well, fuck this, I don't want to play it now. Now I'm going to wait until the game's at a like steep discount. I'll pick it up for like $10 2 years from now or something like that, when the profits will mean fuck all to you. Because, people will just be like, yeah, fuck this. I'm just going to buy it later at a discount.
The other issue, of course, is from their perspective, every single time they do this, they're convincing a bunch of people to buy consoles.
To buy consoles.
But they're not convincing the majority of people to buy consoles. All they're doing is that most of those people go, well, then fuck it, I won't play it.
Yeah.
Why would I play it? It's fine. Then I'll just keep playing my PC, because most people don't have the money to pay for 2 consoles or for 2 systems. PCs are already super expensive. Some people save up all their money because they work from home and they have this PC, so it just makes sense. They don't have the money to go and buy a console on top of that. It's disgusting. It's a stupid practice. It should end. I hope it does, because you have Microsoft that is, and I think this is what Sony is sort of waiting for. They want to see how this works out for Microsoft, because Microsoft is sort of moving in that direction now, where they're no longer going to limit most of their games to Xbox and PC, but make it available everywhere. And I think, personally, PlayStation is just waiting for that. They're sort of waiting and saying, okay, let's see. If Microsoft starts making bank on this move, we might start doing it as well, because you already have Sony that did that with a couple of they announced a couple of games that might be launching on PC and PlayStation at the same time. I remember something like that, but I can't remember which games.
It's the live service games. The live service games will launch at the same time.
Will launch on both. So they might be dipping their toes into this, but I genuinely think the future of gaming is no exclusives. Just let people play where they want to play, because they're already fucking paying you for the game. Like, they're already paying you for the game. Why then do we need to pay? Like, why do we have to wait? And then the game launches a year and a half later, not on special. You're still paying full price for the game. Sometimes not even, like, I don't even check what Final Fantasy is charged for. What are they charging for?
I think they're including the DLC to kind of like make it more expensive. That's probably the way that it's going. But let me see real quick. Final Fantasy 16.
No, it's 850.
What the hell?
It's 850. You can buy the complete edition.
Oh, it's only 50. It's only 50 euros.
Yeah,
it's actually not that much.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's pretty reasonable. Yeah. And then you have an expansion pass. An expansion pass for 25 euros, which is a bunch of content that I still haven't done in Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, they also they seem to have the DLC or Echoes of the Fallen. They have Rising Tide. They have like a package here on Steam.
Yeah, they have the two DLCs. Which the game is awesome. I love the game. Oh, and there's also a demo. People can check it out. That's actually really good. I forgot that they had a demo too, because with the demo you can check out how it runs on your system. People that are worried about like performance and stuff like that. Which is another reason why you should check out the Monster Hunter Wilds demo. Which is open beta, and you can test out performance on your system, which has been a hot topic for the Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, but I mean, in this sense, based Square Enix, because they realized at least, look, this game is a year and a half old. There's no reason for us to charge full price. $60 for this would be ridiculous. Because it doesn't matter that you say, well, it's new on PC. It's not a new game. It just isn't. It's a year and a half old game. You could have launched for $60 if you fucking launched on the day of launch.
I mean, they probably launched it for 70. I think it was 70.
Or it could have been 70 even.
But I think it was probably 70 when it came out.
I also want to point out, I have no problem if they were to say, look, guys, we're going to launch 3 months early on PlayStation or Xbox.
No.
Just because it's easier to optimize for console.
No.
Right?
No.
No. I'm talking about in the world where PlayStation demands it, right? So PlayStation wants them to do, because I'm sure there's some kind of backroom deal bullshit going on here. 3 months is still like, okay, we might swallow that.
No,
a year and a half is ridiculous.
No, listen, Ekelon, you don't normalize that. It's not okay. No.
Hold up. I'm sort of getting to a point here, right? That's why I'm saying, in 3 months, I could swallow the argument that we're launching it, checking out all the bugs, and then spending all of our time trying to optimize the game for PC. 3 months. What I don't understand is a year and a half. What are you trying to not have happen? The overwhelming majority of copies that will be sold on a platform will be sold in the first month. You're not winning. Like, what is the point of the year and a half waiting period? It doesn't make fucking sense to me. I don't understand, because no game has its glow up, like its big sale numbers, a year after the launch. So here, it only seems like PlayStation demanded that the game launch on their platform, and also the first two DLCs go live on their platform before the game is allowed to launch for PC. Which is like, okay, you have effectively killed the game, because all the hype is gone. Most people have seen people play the game on Twitch, on their consoles, those who don't own consoles. So those who might want to buy the game, why would I waste my money? I've seen the game. No one else is playing the game. very few streamers are going to pick up the game now that it's on PC because the hype is gone, right? So you're wasting so much potential that you could have gotten by doing something that makes no fucking sense to anyone but you. So yeah, I genuinely, I'm not saying that I want them to do 3 months rather than a year and a half. I want them to do no months, no minutes even. They just go live at the same time.
Yeah,
but
they shouldn't do it because it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you.
People and gamers in general, they do not appreciate that type of stuff.
No.
So there are some people that do like to do it, that go onto Twitter and they go on the little console wars, like, oh, my box is better than your box.
Yeah.
And it's like. And it's like, bro, really? Like, that's what you need to do? You need to, like, get on Twitter and farm engagement off of fucking console wars? Like, listen, I used to do that when I was a teenager on the PC versus Mac thing, okay? And let me tell you something. You want to know what is the conclusion that I've reached as I've aged and gotten wiser? I was a fucking moron for getting involved in that fight because it's fucking stupid. I was fucking stupid. If I could go back in time and slap myself in the face to not be an Apple fanboy, I fucking would.
Yeah. I mean, part of the joke that I always make with taking the piss out of consoles is because of this console Andy mentality, where the console gamers seem to celebrate one of the worst elements of their fucking industry.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, I just want people to play games. Like, I don't care where the fuck you play them. As long as you play them and you enjoy them, I'm happy for you to play them.
Not on your phone.
I don't count phone as games. I don't know what the fuck you're doing on your phone, but it's not gaming. Like, sorry, but no. I refuse to accept video games.
We still have standards over here at the Mythic Banter show.
But I want people to play games wherever they feel comfortable to do it. In fact, I've been one of the big advocates for getting World of Warcraft onto console. Because I feel like Blizzard is just leaving a bunch of players on the table that could be playing World of Warcraft because they refuse to go to consoles.
New World is on consoles, and World of Warcraft is still not there.
Talk about a game that should not exist. New World.
Jesus.
That game is shit, bro. Like, again, oh man, bro, Amazon just ruins everything they touch.
Let's not jump into New World. Okay?
No, but I don't want to get too deep into it. I just want to say, such potential, such good graphics. Yeah. And just completely fucking ruined because of bad decisions that baffle me. I look at some of the stuff they did, like who decides to make a fucking MMO with action combat? Like, dude, you're not
action
from
combat is fine. Action combat's fine. Their action
not
combat
in the way
okay.
that they're trying to do it, right? Because they're trying to emulate From Software, and the problem is none of their mobs provide the challenge that From Software provides. Their mobs don't react the way. Their characters don't react the way. They don't have the B frames the same as it is in From Software games.
Listen.
So it's just worse. It's like, they just fucking do something else. This doesn't work.
Listen, let's not end the podcast on that note, so I'm going to bring us in with a high note, okay, here towards the end.
All right.
Something that I forgot to put in the notes, but good old Sean Murray, he's done it again. Another massive update just got released for No Man's Sky with a I don't even know what the content is this time because I haven't even looked at it. But again, No Man's Sky, the game that keeps on giving. Another massive update, big win.
I'm super excited for Light No Fire. I'm not as hyped for No Man's Sky, but Light No Fire, please.
There's a new spaceship type that they're adding on this update though. That I'm excited for. I want to check that shit out.
All right. Well, we might talk about that next week.
Yep.
A couple of honorable mentions just before we end. Oh man, I just remembered there's honorable mentions and then I completely forgot what they are. But there was other things that happened in the gaming industry as well. Fuck, what was it? It's actually Subnautica 2 got announced. I know a lot of people are super hyped for that. I also know a lot of people are super upset about that because the lead character is uglified again, according to many people. I have not looked into that, so I can't say anything about it. I will say, though, I think in this instance, it's not going to matter. Subnautica 1 was a phenomenal game.
Is it a first-person game?
Yeah, it's a first-person game, but the first cinematic shows an uglified character, apparently. Although the screenshots I've seen of the character didn't make them look ugly. They just look like anyone in a fucking swimsuit mask.
Rathalos is upset. He's upset.
Yeah, it is what it is. There's literally nothing we can do. At this point, as we discussed earlier, it's pattern recognition. People will see a minority character that looks slightly not beautiful, and they'll immediately pattern recognize and go, oh, DI, woke, fuck that. I don't think this is going to matter. What are you doing? You're having the most fun you've ever had with this.
It's fun. He's just like, peekaboo.
Yeah.
Peekaboo.
People are going to do what they're going to do. I don't think it's going to slow down Subnautica because it's Subnautica, right? Subnautica 1 is celebrated by most people as one of the better games they've ever played. So yeah, we'll see. I find Subnautica too scary, so I will not be playing 2 because I'm not a madman. But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the end. This is a long show. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. If you watched until now, please let us know in the comment section down below. Also, remember to always check out the community tab because we always run a little bit of a question for you guys there, a poll that we ask about this topic.
There's gonna be a key word for this show. If you watched all the way here, you have to make a choice between Alma and Gemma, and only Monster Hunter fans will know what this is about. But you have to choose Alma or Gemma. Type it in the comments.
Okay, do that and let everyone
Which one would you choose, Akalon? Alma or Gemma?
Gemma?
Ah, man.
I may have just agreed to overtake the world. Who knows? But everyone else looking at the comments going to be like, why? Who's Gemma? Why is everyone spamming Gemma in the fucking comments? What's going on here?
And then
they'll stop typing it just because they don't want to be the only people who didn't type Gemma. But I
will show you what it is so that you can see. So in that picture that I just sent you, Gemma's the one on the right, Alma's the one on the left.
I made a good choice.
Yeah.
Gemma's hot. Gemma is hot. Wait, that's Monster Hunter characters? I should be playing Monster Hunter. What the fuck am I doing? You want to throw porn brain? Holy shit.
Oh, man. Hell yeah.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for Mythic Banter episode 18. Rurikon, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to each other. Be kind to each other. And we will see all of you in the next one. Peace.